Don't waste my fucking money when I want you to save a nature place.
Skull Vikings is in this game. Skull Vikings, honor your name. We'll get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Skull Vikings, run up the score. You'll hear us yell for more. Vikings, Skull Vikings, let's go. Now they added on the skull.
That's straight lazy writing, by the way. You didn't. There was nothing about magic in there.
I know
whatsoever.
there wasn't. I was just
Jesus.
like, here's the thing.
That's cheating. That's straight cheating. That's.
I decided I was really hoping they would win. I mean, of course, we're both Vikings fans.
Yeah, what the fuck was going to happen if they didn't win?
I know. I had another song backup, but I was like, I really want to sing this song, so I hope they win just for my podcast sake. Our podcast sake.
Oh no,
sorry.
it's yours. Whatever.
Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Kirk Cousins, Adam Smith. Cousins.
I'm just Lowry Smith, apparently related to Kirk Cousins somehow.
Don't worry,
we're cousins.
Oh, that's where it should have been.
Yeah.
Kirk
No,
Cousins.
you messed that up.
Worked nice. This is episode 89.
No, that 98.
Nope. Dyslexia.
Yep.
I don't really have dyslexia with numbers, so I don't know why I did that. But I did do that earlier when we were talking about the episode numbers. I was like 89, and then when I had to write it,
I did not hear that.
I wrote down the right one. Yeah. If you didn't know, Vikings won, beat the Saints, the hated Who Dat Nation.
We did.
Exactly.
I missed the game actually.
Yeah. Started texting. I
wasn't paying
that
attention.
was fucking awesome. You're like, I didn't watch it.
Glad we won.
Son of a
Didn't
bitch.
watch. I have become
an old Vikings fan.
disenfranchised.
You don't even watch them anymore.
not done. I'll watch them if they make the Super Bowl.
So never in our lifetime?
I'll watch. Ouch.
Well, it hasn't happened before for us.
For us.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So we have a lot on this 2 episodes before
We
100.
hope you had a safe and happy holidays.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the start of this. That's why we have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cool new things starting up here. But what are we doing today on our episode?
We're going to do a Spotlight Alela deck that I made because I was having an itch, which is not a button currently.
I fucked that up. I made new buttons, and that was not one of them.
I had an itch. Some people on Twitter helped me out, and I'm happy with it. Very happy with the deck.
Have you got to play it at all? Not
in real games, no.
Just your goldfish and stuff?
Just goldfishing.
Then we move into, we've done it before, favorite mechanic, least favorite mechanic. It's not our favorite. It's just a mechanic that we really like, and then one that we really dislike.
Or just dumb.
Yeah. And then we will finish up with an ANL question by a sweet listener.
Talking about Mike Lowry?
Mike Lowry.
All right.
Hey, Bad Boys 3 is coming out. Mike Lowry.
It could have been Will Smith that called in. It was not, but it could have.
He tweeted us, and that was his question.
But it's going to be about thank you cards.
Yeah.
And why do people send them?
It's more of what grinds Lowry's gears.
Jesus.
It's not Jesus.
It's not Jesus. All right. We are drinking Jai Alai IPA from Cigar City Brewing. I had this down in Florida. A lot of people like this. And there's an IPA, like I said. What do you think?
It's pretty good.
7.5. Cheers, by the way.
Thank you.
And so
somebody brought sharing it up with Adam.
Yeah. Somebody brought it up. Got it for me.
Not like those damn cookies you're not sharing.
You didn't even want any.
I didn't want any.
Jeez.
If you had Oreos, I would have been all over that. Like number 2 said, if you had double stuff, that's the thing. Like, why do they even make regular stuffed Oreos anymore? They should all be double stuffed.
It should just be mint. Mint Oreos
Gross.
are bomb.
What is wrong with you?
You smash that up into like vanilla ice cream. Bomb. This is good.
You and your meat bucket.
Don't be jealous.
Okay. Well, let's get into some of the stuff this week, or new stuff that we're going to be talking about. So one of the first things, thanks again, everybody, for all the downloads last month. We by far beat our most downloaded podcast, which was just 2 months ago. But this was like the biggest increase that we've ever had. So that was kind of nice. So it jumped up more than 700 downloads from
And I'm just assuming that we got 7 new listeners that listen to the other 100. That's my guess.
We're not quite at 100, so
we're almost at 100.
Oh, yeah.
So we got 8 new listeners, and one got sick after about 10. They're like, I'm done. That's my assumption.
That's a lot of listening. I don't think I could listen to that many episodes
in a month.
Yeah, it's
100 hours.
Yeah,
we easily have over 100 hours of. Stuff
for
to
sure.
listen to.
Yeah, with us talking. So again, what we are doing, if you haven't noticed, since you guys have been breaking the record with us, we are going to do a card giveaway. We're going to do things a little different. This time we're going to give you guys the chance to vote on what one you want. So right now, the 3 that we're going to do, and it's cards that we actually have proxies for too. So it's going to be the same thing. You'll get the card and the proxy, but right now we'll put up a Twitter poll for Cyclonic Rift, Fabled Passage, and Atraxa. So one of those 3.
Whatever wins.
Yep, and we'll do a 5 or 6 day poll, and whatever's at the most, that will be the card we give away. Next week,
it'll be the retweeting of stuff.
We'll tell you the winner of it. Yep. And then, it's going to be a little different than we did the last time.
It's not going to be a month. You got 2 weeks.
2 weeks, but it's not going to be, you only get 1 entry. So you retweet it. You're good to go there, but
Adam doesn't want to put 3 hours into a wheel and have that over.
It's like, this is taking way too long. Let's just do it once. I can get everybody's name down. So that is saying thank you to everybody, and that's for everybody. It's not just for our patrons. Some things that are just for our patrons.
It's going to be a segment that we're going to start. It's going to be called Cards to Cut. So if you have a deck that you want help with and you want our opinions for some reason, and this is for the patrons, they can send us a deck list and we will cut 5 cards a piece, like randomly, and then we will add.
We're just going to take 5 cards, be like, that one, that one.
Might just be that easy. No. And so you can send us a deck list. You can send us, and then we will just cut 5 cards of our choice, add in 5 cards. There'll be a little bit more details that we can contact you with when you send us a list. But I think this is going to be a fun little segment.
And that'll be just for our patrons. So patrons, you guys can do that. Another thing that's just for our patrons is the proxy of the week. We are doing a little bit of a change with that. Everything's still staying the same tiers wise, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, 4, 5, 4, I think we go up to. But twice a year now, what we're going to do is make all the proxies available. So if you're like now getting, I had one listener was like, hey, I just started listening to your podcast. I really like the proxies that you did like a year ago or something like that, but we don't have them available. And we had already kind of had this planned out that we were going to do it once or twice a year to make them all available. So actually starting next month, so the month of February, you, whatever level you're at.
2020.
Yep, 2020. Yeah. Depends if they're, I know, 10 years ago. Like this is, but you could choose, like whatever level you're at, you can choose from any of the proxy of the week. You can go on Twitter. That's the best way to see what they are. We do also post them on Patreon. You can check them out there, but you can pick any of those from that list. Cool. All right. That's everything out of the way besides the other places you can find us, Gmail.
So Patreon, Twitter, YouTube.
YouTube is the free way to do it. So free way to support our cast is subscribe.
Yep.
All right. Should we get on to the meat and potatoes? Ugh, potatoes. Let's get on to the meat of the episode.
Why don't you say
the meat force?
Why don't you say, like, let's get on to the peanut butter and jelly of the episode?
Yeah, I guess that would work too.
Or the peanut butter cookies and milk.
All right. So we are going to start off. I should have had a sounder for this. It should have been a spotlight deck, but instead it's Lowry's deck.
A spotlight deck.
I like having sounders. It's fun. All right, so what are we looking at? We're looking at one of the Brawl guys, aren't we?
Yeah, so Alela, Artful Provocateur. And this is colorless, white, blue, black, 2/3 flying, death touch, lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0. And whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying.
Ridiculous.
That's a lot of words. Seems pretty cool. And so I ended up going, I think the artifact version or way that you can go with this is probably stronger. Like there's just going to be more infinite combos that go with it. But I went enchantments because
Why not? Theros is coming out.
Theros is coming up.
Yeah, that's a good way to
hope
go
I
with
get
it.
to add some cards into this from there. So it's going to be really cool. And this, I think, is how I wish that Enchantment Planeswalker deck that I tried to make a year ago and I
Not
hated.
Lord Windgrace, the other.
Yeah, I don't remember her
Or
name
not
anymore.
Lord Windgrace is the land. The masked gal.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Estrid.
Estrid, yeah.
Woo!
I wish this is how that went.
Mm.
And I'm really happy with what this turned out. I do have an Enchanted Evening as well.
Oh, you went out and got it.
No. Card Sphere got it. for me.
Oh,
I
nice.
appreciated that.
Hashtag thank you, Cardsphere. That's you want me to read it? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
what
why I
you want me
gave
to
it
do?
to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Enchanted Evening is 3, and you have what is it? It's white, blue. What do we say?
Azorius.
Enchantment. All permanents are enchantments in addition to their other types. So it's everybody's.
Everything's an enchantment.
Yeah.
So that's
Land
pretty
comes
sweet.
in. It's an enchantment. Everything.
And this is how you just win the game.
Aura Thief. 3 and a blue. It's a 2/2 flying. When it's put into the graveyard from play, you gain control of all enchantments.
Yeah.
What a dick.
So you just take everybody's enchantments, and they should just concede at that point.
And like a normal Lowry deck, you have sack outlets pretty easily, I'm guessing.
I do. But there are some other important cards in here that work along
with the enchantment stuff.
Yeah. So
So Enchanted Armor. This is a 1-drop. Enchant creature aura. Enchanted creature gets 1/1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. That's pretty good.
yeah. So if you drop Enchanted Evening while that's on your Alela, you pretty much just commander damage.
Yep, for sure. All that glitters.
Same thing, basically.
I like that it's shiny too. It kind of fits with the name. All that glitters. So yeah, same thing. 1/1. You got Helm of the Gods. This is an equipment. It gets 1/1 for each enchantment you control.
Mm-hmm.
Black Blade Reforged. This is the sweet Gideon spellbook one.
Spellbook, yeah.
Yeah. So this is equipped creature gets 1/1 for each land you control.
So that's just a nice, really big pump.
So you're kind of Voltron-y in a way. So is your commander normally the one that is the game winner?
That's the nice thing about this deck. I feel like it's very strong in a couple of different prongs of it. So like, first off, that's my one like combo.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I get Aura Thief to work with Enchanted Evening once or twice, it's out of the deck. Like, it's just like, shit, that worked. Awesome. But Enchanted Evening isn't just a dead card in this deck because of that and a couple other cards.
And then you have Eldalon, is that right?
Eidolon,
the Countless Battles. This has Bestow on it, so you can either have it come in as a creature or you do the Bestow, and it can be an aura, which enters the battlefield. It gets 1/1 for each creature you control and 1/1 for each aura you control. So that's pretty sweet just by its... I mean, the Bestow cost is pretty... I like the Bestow effect.
Yeah. And so that's like another
mechanic.
big buff to Alela, because I mean, having Alela at 2/3 Death Touch Lifelink is good, but you don't want her to die. And so if you can bring her up to a 5 or 6 or 7 really easy with these cards.
Plus she has the lifelink on that as well. You got the Death Touch, that's great, but the lifelink helps out tremendously.
So she can just become a beast and win the game.
Do you have anything that gives her trample? Remember how much we love Death Touch and trample?
Esper, there's black, blue, white. So
it's equipment, baby. You can get equipment on them.
Here are some of the sack outlets here, which are pretty cool.
So we got Teferi's Care. This is 2 and 1 white enchantment. Sacrifice an enchantment, destroy target enchantment. Or
you can counterspell it with like
3 and 5.
I don't plan on doing that.
But you can counter target enchantment spell.
So think with Enchanted Evening down, pay 1, sacrifice any of your permanents to destroy the worst permanent that they have or that's on the board. And you could just start getting everybody, once you got all the good stuff gone, you can start going after the lands because those are also enchantments.
Question for you. I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but do you have Hall of Heliod's Generosity?
I do.
Good.
We won't have that in.
No, but that just works perfect with this because then you can bring back that enchantment and put it back on top of your library.
And if you're drawing a ton of cards, it can get pretty crazy.
Then you have Arson's Aura, and this is a
literal same card as Teferi's.
It is the exact same thing. There's nothing different except the picture. Attrition, sacrifice creature, destroy target non-black creature.
That's a good way to... You got a lot of fairies that you can be creating. You can control the board that way.
Faith Healer, sacrifice an enchantment, gain life equal to that sacrifice enchantment's total casting cost. And then Darksteel Mutation, that's kind of the way to get rid of commanders and other things like that. You turn them into an 0/1 indestructible insect. So that's kind of nice because...
I'm sorry.
Oh, why is that supposed to be your dealing with...
That's just creature removal. Didn't matter.
Gotcha.
So another big thing, I need to find a couple more of these, but the sacrificing enchantments are kind of important for these first two.
So Spirit Loop, 1 white, 1 colorless, enchant creature you control. Whenever enchanted creature basically has lifelink. And then when it's put into the graveyard, return Spirit Loop to owner's hand.
So you can sacrifice it, destroy any enchantment they have, and then it comes back in your hand, recast it, get another fairy.
So
sacrifice it again.
This enchantment.
Yeah, so you're able to loop it back and forth a couple times. I believe this also works when you put it on another creature, like an opponent's creature. I think you're gaining that life. I'd have to reread it.
No, it says enchant creature you control.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I missed that probably.
The first one.
Yep. Okay. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
The main purpose was to cycle it through, get a bunch of fairies.
Yeah.
And draw triggers and stuff like that.
Slow motion. This is 2 and a blue. During your upkeep, enchanted creature controller pays 2 or sacrifices it. When it's put into the graveyard from play, return it to owner's hand. So again, the same thing is...
It's a little bit of a tax effect, and you're able to sacrifice it, and they have to, I have Smothering Tithe in here, so they got to pay 2 for their creature, pay 2 so they don't have to draw. They start using up a bunch of their mana. They can't do nearly as much, or they're sacrificing their creature. And in this kind of deck, it's almost better to put it on a bad creature. So they're like, I don't want to save this for 2 mana. Sacrifice it, comes back in hand, replay it again, get your fairy. And so that's kind of how I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to use that.
Duly noted, Lowry. Mark of Eviction, 1 blue aura. At the beginning of your upkeep, return enchanted creature and all auras attached to that creature to their owner's hand.
So that comes back to your hand at your upkeep, and then you can replay it again for 1 blue, get your fairy token, and you're always just being able to...
Or you can hinder somebody by putting it on theirs.
Yeah, you want to put it on their creature.
But the other thing is you could put it on yours that has a lot of enchantments that you just want to play again.
Oh, that's a good point.
You could pop it all back to your hand and keep playing them again.
Yeah, one little thing there, though. Yeah, I think if you're desperate, I think you can do that.
I mean, if you
that's a good play.
If it's just a 1/1, one of your other 1/1 fairies that has auras on it, then you're able to play more. Okay. And then the last thing you have on here is Flickering Ward.
Personal favorite.
Yeah, you do play this one on.
I love it.
1 white aura. When it comes into play, choose a color. Enchanted creature gains protection from the chosen color. You can tap 1 and return it to owner's hand. So you can just keep tapping 1. Pop, 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 pop.
Keep bringing it back and forth. Make as many fairies as you have white mana. And then you can just leave it on there. Protects itself from red wrath spells pretty easy that way. And it also, if you leave 1 white open, you can just return it by the end of a turn for benefit later on.
Yeah, for sure.
Or even if your creature is going to die for some reason, you can return it back to your hand. I really enjoy that one. So next card just controls the board really nice.
What is it?
Martyr's
Bond. 4 and 2 white enchantment. When this or another non-land permanent you control is put in the graveyard from the battlefield. Oh yeah, I always like this one. It caught me off guard because it's the Gideon's spellbook
one.
Art. But that person, each opponent sacrifices a permanent that shares a card type with it.
Yeah.
So if you're sacrificing enchantments, everybody else has sacrifice enchantment. Do you have enchantment creatures in here?
There are some.
Oh,
the artifact creatures are a little bit more important. But also with this, you're just making a bunch of tokens. So if you're able to just chump block, you're basically killing their creatures as well that way. So, and then this is the Atraxamaker right here.
The Atraxamaker.
Yeah.
So we have Sword of Vengeance. It is 3. It's an equipment. Tap 3 to bring it out. Equip creature. We also tap 3 to put it on the creature. Equip creature gets 2/0, has first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste.
So equipping that to Alela, it would turn it into a 4/3, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, flying, death touch, lifelink. That's a lot of words there.
You just need the first strike. Oh man,
its first strike has vigilance. Or no, it doesn't have vigilance, does it? Yeah. First strike, vigilance, trample, haste. So that's like crazy amount of value. Like you can attack, just deal 1 damage,
Then you're
jump
missing
blocker.
double strike. Then you'll be able to hit multiple times.
You're gaining a ton of life. The card is bonkers.
Yeah, that is a good card in general.
Some real quick, like Mirror Maid and Copy Enchantment. You're able to like copy stuff that are coming down pretty quick. Card that I think is really good.
From M20.
Yeah.
Is it Safara?
Yeah, Safara.
Sky's Blade. This is 4 and 3 white, 7/7. You may pay 1 white and tap 4 untap creatures. You're gonna have a lot of little 1/1 fairies.
Yep.
Untap 4 creatures you control with flying rather than pay its mana cost. So you just tap 1, your 4 creatures, and it's in.
7/7
it has
flying
and lifelink. Other creatures you control have indestructible.
With flying.
Yeah, sorry. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So that helps keep your commander safe.
Pretty easy
and your
to pull
ones.
off.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Sun Titan brings back any enchantments that people are bringing into play. Larceny is a BAMF
I
card.
don't know Larceny. 3 and 2 black enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card from his or her hand. Seems like a Lowry douche card.
It's pretty sweet. Anointed Procession just
Good.
doubles up on the tokens that are happening.
I like this next one.
Bitter Blossom.
Bitter Blossom. You need a proxy for this one.
I started using Bitter Blossom in a little bit. Now, talking with Bill from Woodbury, he's like, I use it here. I'm like, I should use it.
Yeah, I want to
more.
use that a lot more than I have been, which is 0 right now. Eldrazi Monument, I always try to get this in a deck, and then it always ends up getting cut for me just because of the sacrifice part. But the thing is if you're generating a lot of
tokens like this,
you should be able to do it. But anyways, it's a 5-drop artifact. Creatures you control get 1/1 and have flying and indestructible. But at the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice a creature. If you can't, you sacrifice Eldrazi Monument. So the worst case scenario is you're sacrificing that. But other than that, all your stuff is getting indestructible.
Yeah.
So,
and then there's a couple of just like pumps. There's Etchings of the Chosen, which gives +1/+1 to fairies, and then you can pay 1, sacrifice of any creature or a fairy, and give any creature indestructible. Tangible Virtue gives tokens +1/+1 and vigilance. Radiant Destiny will give +1/+1 to fairies and gives them vigilance. Now the badass cards here.
Coastal Piracy. This is the BAMF cards. 2 and 2 blue. Whenever, in this enchantment, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. This went up when the Estrid deck came out. And
No. This Locust God.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Gets crazy with Locust God.
Yeah, your stuff is coming. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then Bident of
Thassa.
Thassa.
Yeah. Same thing.
Thassa. 2 and 2 blue. Yeah, except you can tap 2 creatures your opponent control attack this turn if able. So you can get somebody tapped out, or you can basically get somebody to be open so that you can guarantee to get through on your attack. Idol of Oblivion. This is an artifact for 2. You can tap it to draw a card, activate this ability only if you created a token this turn. So you're creating 1/1s. You can do it right away.
Yeah, just put it into play, tap it, draw a card, and then you're essentially going to be, it fuels everything that you're going to be doing.
And I don't think you'll use the tap 8. I mean, in rare instances, but you can tap 8 and sacrifice it.
Agreed.
Create
Unlikely.
a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Be nice if it had Annihilator. Then I might jump into that a little bit more, but it doesn't have it. Mesa Enchantress is perfect. You're going to draw cards every time you cast an enchantment.
Yeah, along with when you're doing that like cycle loop with like sacrifice an enchantment, they got to sacrifice, or like you're destroying an enchantment, then you get to replay it, make a token, draw a card with Mesa Enchantment. Like a lot of this can kind of build off of each other and can be really kind of fun. Now, I'm putting top on here.
What?
Sensei's
Sensei's Divining Top?
It's because if you're stacked with land, you can still draw and be recasting Sensei's Top. So it's one of those that you can always just really recast, create a fairy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Putting it back on. That's actually a good point. I wasn't catching that.
So it's pretty important, or it can
So you're
be
using
important.
normally the Sensei's Top ability, the second ability is used when you need something that turn to survive or to solve some problem.
And if you just
but this
know
one you're
that
actually using to help you keep casting it and keep doing what you want to do. It doesn't even matter if your top is your top is fine. You just want to do that because it's only a 1-drop.
You're just casting it for
and you have
really
a way to
easy.
bounce. And then a couple auras here.
Kind of the creature removal along with the Darksteel mutation.
Yeah. So this one, you have Curse of Chains. This one basically at the beginning of each upkeep, tap enchanted creature, and then Journey to Nowhere. What that does is it basically exiles the creature until Journey to Nowhere comes back or gets destroyed.
And so like in this kind of deck, I try and keep away from the well-knowns of Swords of Plowshare, Path to Exile. Like those are really, really good cards, and they'd work here anyway.
What about Oblivion Ring?
Right here.
Oblivion Ring. So that one's just exile another target non-land permanent, and then Imprisoned in the Moon.
That will turn any of their permanents that you want gone into basically a colorless land. They're both there to just hit a wide array of cards.
Except Imprisoned in the Moon is
creature
land or planeswalker.
Oh, planeswalker. Yeah. Whatever you want.
But not artifact.
Whatever you want.
That isn't whatever you want. It's not it's not as good as Oblivion Ring.
These hit whatever you want.
Okay. Good
segue.
Boom. And Grasp of Fate. Grasp of Fate I like a lot because you're hitting multiple players with
it. Detention Sphere can hit a lot of players. So if you want to hit somebody's like Lightning Greaves or Swiftfoot Boots or their Soul Ring, there might be multiples of those out there, and you hit those as well, I believe.
But I like Grasp of Fate because you do hit each player with that one.
Sure. Yeah.
So that one's really nice.
And then even with both of these are the best cards, one of the best cards that you can deal with the Copy Enchantment and Mirror Maid. Mm-hmm. So like you drop that on their commander, goes away, they replay it, drop it again.
Yeah.
Like that seems like the fun thing. Now there is some weird rules that I've kind of half forgotten at this point, but if you put like an Oblivion Ring on somebody's commander, they put it into their command zone, and if that Oblivion Ring dies,
it from the command zone back
into play.
Yeah.
But I don't know what goes beyond like, if they've cast it a couple times, like would that? I don't understand.
It's back in play, and then the Oblivion
brings it back to it,
goes back, and then comes back again.
Does it count towards commander tax? I don't know. Like it. But yes, that is. If
you're
you
get a text
Ring,
now from number 2,
that'd be great. To clarify it, just put it down on Twitter, and then that'll be great. But if it goes
right
into
under the
Oblivion Ring, and if Oblivion Ring dies, Simplicity ways, and nothing's happened, and Oblivion Ring dies, commander comes back from the command zone. I remember that, but I don't know any of the other craziness that can happen. Motherfucker.
I just wanted to do a button. I was like, I have these buttons and I haven't even done one yet.
Last little bit is some of the ramp, which is kind of cool.
I'll always love Pilgrim's Eye.
But it's perfect in here because it gets +1/+0. Oh! And it's an artifact, so it gives you a fairy as well. So like it's giving you a lot of bonuses with giving you a land in your hand. It's a 2/1 in this deck and also creates a 1/1 fairy. Like that becomes a very good card.
Stormscape Familiar, your white spells and black spells you play cost 1 less.
I have a lot of white enchantments in this deck, and it lowers Alela down to black, white, blue.
Migratory.
It's also a flyer, so
yeah,
+2,
so it helps
+1.
there. Migratory Route. This is 3 white and blue. Create 4 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying. It also has basic land cycling.
Yeah, so it's nice to be able to go and get a basic land if you have to, but if not, you're putting 8 power on the board with Alela.
And then one card that I did an instant spec of this week, Starfield Mystic. That's from the core set 20. It is 1 and 1 white. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into the graveyard, it gets a 1/1 counter. So that's kind of why I spec'd it on it, is because there's a lot of sacrificing and sagas, sacrifice enchantments. In this, it's perfect because you're sacrificing a lot of your stuff.
If you're sacrificing those enchantments with those abilities, like you're just piling counters on this guy.
I will say one thing. I think it's a good card. I feel like it missed the mark. I feel like that ability should be a draw part. Don't you think so? Instead of it getting a 1/1 counter, that just feels like, I mean, how often do you sacrifice enchantments? You know, that doesn't, besides your deck.
I would agree. Yeah.
It feels like it should be a draw part to it.
But just think about if somebody did like a Tranquility and destroyed all enchantments, becomes a really big, like if you want to set yourself up for that for some reason, maybe yeah, that's a bad idea. But so I think
more so the reason why it's really good is taking the cost of your enchantment spells down.
Yep.
I think that's the main part of that.
It really kind of speeds up the deck. And again, if you're working with any of your draw spells, like you're able to play 3-4, like it turns into 3-4 mana. That's why I really like familiars to a certain degree. Like they only do so much, but when you're reducing the cost of something like an enchantment, you're heavy in the enchantments, that helps you a ton. Again, if you can turn it into 2-3 mana per turn, that gets to be some crazy value for 2 mana. That can get bigger potentially.
That could be, that's a side note to
and
it.
Think about if you're chump blocking with fairies and you have Enchanted Evening into play in the Starfield Mystic, and your fairies are dying, you're getting enchantment, like the +1/+1 counters on him, getting to be huge. Like there's some really cool board states I can figure out with him. So
sweet.
So
what are the big, you're thinking...
So Aura Thief is the big thing.
Okay.
That's what I want to pull off. Again,
but that's 1 out of the 99.
And then I think you can easily get commander damage in
That's
like 1
where
or 2 players.
I was going to say this seems more of a Voltron-y deck. Like
it can
because
be, for sure.
It seems
there's
like
about
your
5
commander,
cards that can really just boost Alela pretty big.
and it is 5 cards, which starts to get to at that 7 mark is when I start to say
be able to hit that.
Yeah.
And then also there are about 5 cards that pump the tokens as well. Yeah, they go from 2/1s to 3/1s to or not 3/1s, but
no. So this
when
can
you
be
have
multiple things. Yeah, I like it. So it can be your white weenies running around and hitting their flying damage, but they're actually 2s. It's double that, or it's your commander potentially could take somebody
and
out.
so like neither of them are bad against each other either. So like if I'm going high with Alela going Voltron and I draw one of my +1/+1s for all my tokens, well, I just made all my chump blockers and or more aggressive towards other people. Like it works out both ways. If I'm pumping up all my tokens and I draw the pump my commander, it's fine to pump my commander and just start attacking one person, focus on them. Like it works out both ways very well. And either way, I'm creating 1/1 fairies for Alela. So the deck just seems really well worked together. There are a couple of cards on my list that I don't like that we didn't talk about. And so I'll probably figure out what to do. Like Hour of Reckoning, like destroy all non-token creatures. I'm just like, Alela's pretty important here.
That's my next question was going to be, I said I like doing my favorite decks are 2-color, then probably 3-color. How does she feel to come out, like casting wise? I know we're pretty set with our lands, being able to
getting her out turn 3 or 4 is always
okay.
It's super easy. I'm probably a little light on protection. I'll admit that. But if I
don't
can,
want babies running around. Well, in this case, you do want babies running around. So that's probably why you're light on the protection.
So, So that's something, if somebody focuses on Alela and you don't have that kind of protection or the ramp to be able to continue to bring her out, that could be an issue. But that's where a lot of like the enchantments of just like kind of controlling the board that way helps out too.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see with the lighter protection. Just you might have to be able to have to cast her a few times, but
yeah,
we'll see.
But just think like if you're able to play 4 enchantments that next turn, which I've done. That's pretty easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so you're just going 4, you just added 8 power onto the board plus Alela, and then whatever else your enchantments were doing. That's pretty big time. One thing that I'm going to try and add in to are the original Theros gods. I do have Thassa in here, but I want Heliod and Erebos because if they're enchantment creatures or artifact triggers, they do trigger Alela because they're artifacts or enchantments. And so that's a big thing. Like, when I was building this deck, I was like, it's really close to my Kaikar deck, which is kind of like artifact enchantment heavy because that one is non-creature. Spells create 1/1 spirits. This one is artifacts and enchantments, which kind of like focus you on it, but it doesn't affect you. So you could still be doing heavy artifact creatures and just doubling up your army when you're playing artifact creatures. So it's kind of like similar to Kaikar, but different in those ways.
If I was playing the 2, would you be like, those are too similar, you can't play them?
Yeah, because I destroyed my Kai card today.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh, that's part of your list that you were putting up
I tried to change it to make it different, and then it kind of got like 2-3 ideas in there, and it just became a mess. And I was like I can come back to it later, or there is an idea that I'm more excited about, but it's more of what I'm I don't know. I just like opposition so much, and with a couple of cards, I'm just like, oh, I love this, but it didn't. It was not working.
One thing that I really liked with it and the idea is the Sensei's top. I really like that thought.
That little, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And so that one thing right there too is like, we were talking about just building decks. You learn interactions, and how I was saying like, Kaikar and Alela were similar. I for sure took that from Kaikar. I was like, no, this works, and it's extra, not just awesome. It's extra awesome in those two kind of decks, because
so this one's much better than your Kaikar.
I don't know if it's better. Again, haven't played it.
Like, I can't tell you which one's my favorite. Both my kids are my favorite.
No, I think I'm gonna like this one more.
Yeah, because I've only seen you play the Kaikar one once.
I did 2 games with it.
2 games?
Yeah.
Was I in both games?
Yep. That was when you were doing Yarok. And
when we were testing.
Yeah, so it lost once to Kalia, and then it beat Kalia, because that was that crazy extra turns thing.
Sweet. All right. I think that's it, right, for your deck?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, so then we move into... I like this.
Yeah, I know you do.
We actually move into our favorite or mechanics we like and mechanics we don't like. Where do we want to start? Negative this week and go with our dislike ones?
I mean, we can.
This
is going to be epic.
Way to ruin shit, you douchebag. I will start then. Epic is one of the worst mechanics. I think the idea that it's only 5 cards, each color has it. I actually did buy...
No, I didn't realize. I thought it was from Kamigawa block, but it's from Saviors of Kamigawa, which is where mine is from as well. Yeah, specifically.
But what Epic is once you cast this spell, you can't cast spells for the rest of the game. So no matter what happens, you can't play any spells anymore. And the spell
continues to be played.
Yeah.
Each upkeep? Is that what's going on? Each turn?
So the blues, I think it's the blue and the white one. Can you zoom in? The blue and the white one are the 2 that I really liked. I think those are the 2 that I shouldn't say really liked, that I actually bought, but then they never made it into a deck. So like the white one is search your library for an enchantment card and put it into play. This would be good for your deck.
No.
Then shuffle your library. So, but each turn, at the beginning of each of your upkeeps, you cast this spell, but that's the only spell you can cast. So it'd be good, but then if your commander got killed, you couldn't cast your commander anymore. The blue one is search an opponent's library for an artifact, creature, or enchantment or land card. I don't know why you'd go get a land necessarily.
Cradle.
Yeah. You can't really tap it to cast anything. It'd have to be pumped wise.
That's kind of a bad idea.
But then you put that into play under your control. So, but it costs 10 for that to come out. Each of them cost a ton. It's a good idea, but the fact that you're just out of you can't cast anything for the rest of the game kind of sucks.
Yeah, like it's almost not epic.
Yeah,
because it's not doing enough for even the mana cost of not being able to do anything for the rest.
I think maybe if no, because that would suck if you had to cast, if it was less, I was going to say a lower casting cost, maybe that'd be cool, but then that's earlier that you're out of the game. Not out of the game, just not playing your hand or anything. So I guess it's good that it's 10. It's making it so maybe this is the only card in your hand, but still, like, I feel like I wish there was something that it lasted for a certain amount of time.
No, just not being able to interact after that is just awful.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just so bad. I think what they were trying to go for here was like, it's an epic spell. It's so legendary that this is, once you cast it, you're done. That's all you're doing for the rest of the game. And I think I would say in Dominaria, when they did legendary sorceries, I think that was the better way to do it. Like, you can't cast it unless you have a legend in play. That makes a ton of sense to me. Not being able to play Magic for the rest of the game sounds awful.
Yeah.
And it just
it's not epic.
It was like maybe I should save this one for mine, but Kamigawa feels like every bad idea they've had like saved up for 10 years, and they're like, let's do all of these bad ideas in one block. That's like, I don't think there's a single solid mechanic.
So I just want to go through the other ones. Green, put a 1/1 snake creature token on the play for each card in your hand. I guess that would be good because you're always going to be drawing a card. You can't cast anything from your hand.
But just think if somebody plays like Aether Shock or something that can deal with tokens.
Oh, I know. Or you're screwed. But I'm just saying, like, that one at least.
It doesn't give you any flexibility whatsoever.
Black is search a player's library for X cards, where X is the number of cards in your hand, and remove them from the game. So you're basically trying to mill somebody at that one.
But not do anything.
Yeah, that's all you're doing each.
You can't cast
and then what's
anything
red?
anymore.
Red is probably going to be the worst one. I forget. I don't. Red is remove cards from the top of your library from the game until you remove a non-land card. It deals damage to target creature or player equal to that card's converted mana cost. Yeah, that's probably the worst one.
That's pretty bad.
And that's all you're doing the rest of the game.
I wonder, are you able to like counter the spell and not have it happen anymore?
No, because it's done.
Oh, wait, but you can't counter it. You'd have to have somebody on something on the battlefield that could.
What do you mean you can't? You can counter the first one. If the first one gets countered, then you're fine, right? But after that, if it doesn't get countered, you're just continuously doing it. The spell, it does make the spell again, but you're continuously under epic. You don't get to do anything else for the rest of the game.
Jesus.
So they can counter any of the copies of the turn, like the next turn, but it doesn't mean you're still an epic.
You still can't.
Garbage.
If you could find a way around the epic part, like, okay, I'm done doing this not really epic thing.
Maybe
that
they should
be helpful.
They should make a mechanic that's remove epic. If you draw this card, it automatically removes epic.
Play it for free. It's called You're Not That Epic.
All right, Larry, what is your bad mechanic from the same damn...
Also, Saviors of Kamigawa. I don't know why they keyworded this. It's called Sweep. And I'll just read an example of the red one. This is Barrel Down, Sakazin. 2 colorless, red, instant, Sweep. Return any number of mountains you control to their owner's hand. Barrel down, blah, 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 deals damage to target creature equal to twice the number of mountains returned this way.
Sweep. I mean, sweet.
So it's essentially returning lands to your hand to deal damage, twice the amount of damage for mountains. It's not just any land. It has to be a mountain. And this is common. There's only 5 of them.
It doesn't have to be basic.
This is true. But returning land to your hand is a really bad idea. Unless you were talking about
it's like, yeah, if you could play like a landfall, like if you're playing a deck that you want lands to come back.
There's only like one card where I'd consider playing a sweep spell if I had burgeoning in play. So then whenever somebody plays a land, I get to put one of those lands back into play. It puts you so far. You're like losing turns to do something so minimal.
I will say though, with Yarok, I did have 4 or 5 cards that gave me that many. You know, I had Oracle Moldiah, Get Rog Monster, Wayward Swordtooth, and is that it? I think those 3, so 4 extra cards. So popping it back to my hand would be good, but none of these abilities are good.
Yeah. So the black one, like you return Swamp Star to your hand, and they got to discard that many cards. And then there's 2 white ones. One of the white ones like pumps your entire team +1/+1 for each planes returned, and the other one is
and it's 5 to cast it.
That one's 5. The other one is 2 to cast and return planes for 1 creature to get +1/+1 for each planes you return to your hand.
Ugh.
So it's like none of them do a whole ton. It was like it's 3 commons, 1 uncommon. It's like, what were they going to do with this? Why would you return lands to your hand? Like, even if you're even like talking about like standard or block or limited, like
it is weird that they only had that many. You know, now when they do a mechanic they add to a set. They have more than just 5.
It just boggles my mind on why they would try and do this kind of mechanic.
And normally they try to make it fit with something else that's going on the set. And
I don't know if they were trying anything.
No, I don't
in
think
this
they
set.
were at all. They just weren't even trying.
If we do this one again, we're going to go back to Kamigawa block and be like, this was an awful idea too. Why would you arcane? Only arcane. Like, why would you only splice into arcane spells? Like, why would you not do instants and sorceries? Why would you soul shift any of this shit? Like, these are all overcosted like hell just to make soul shift work. Like, garbage. Did I just ruin Kamigawa block for us?
Pretty much. We don't have to talk about those anymore.
We can skip that one. I'll go to
all right, our favorites. Woo! So this one, I actually want more of it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Investigate. I think we need more cards like this because I think it's a really sweet mechanic. Not only are you getting not food tokens, you're getting something useful that costs less to do and you're drawing cards. So you're getting an artifact that can help win artifact decks. Or in general, you're investigating, you're getting a clue token that you can sacrifice by tapping 2 and drawing a card at any point. It's just really useful. And there's only, 25 cards that we...
Well, it's only in 2 sets.
Yeah, so there really isn't that much of it. I just want them to print more of this because I think it's a great mechanic.
I agree. They should have
just
as well.
Not done food and just went right back to investigate.
Well, investigate implies that there has to be some type of
you're investigating
going.
Who ate Goldilocks porridge and the 3. Like, come on, they could have done some.
Well, I mean, Kenrith did get turned into an elk. And then, you can investigate however you try and figure out. You could have done that.
You got some investigating to do in these fairy tale stories, and I think a lot of them need investigating.
I'm assuming, food is a pretty big thing for, stories, though. Hansel and Gretel left food as a trail. The birds ate it, but then they went into the witch's house that was made out of food.
Gained 3 life and tapped 3 to do it.
Oh, Jesus. You're going to be all right. It's only 2, I think.
Oh yeah, 2
very 2
similar. Life. Oh, that's right. It's tap 3.
No, it's tap 2, gain 3 life.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, see, this is where we were talking about how do we correct this?
How do we correct it? We just pull it up. What's something that has food in it? I can't think of cards because
Witch's oven.
Witch's oven. I'll do this on my phone because I can't see your computer.
But investigate. I think I think this would be a great way to turn it into an evergreen.
Well, I don't have witch's oven. I have witch's eye. But that'd be
wrong. That'd be wrong.
Which?
But if you could give every color, this isn't amazing draw, but it's I can draw whenever I have a little bit of extra mana, and it's really beneficial in that spot. Or if I need to draw a card, I just do it. And so I think if you could expand on this mechanic, I think you can, very similar to Scry, give it to all the colors. I don't think you have to specify a color that can investigate. I wish they maybe give it a different name.
You're right. 2 and you gain 3 life.
Yeah, normally I'm right. Sorry.
Oh,
oh, good for you. And so
how many segments have we done where it's we were wrong, and how many of them were you?
Oh, those are 100% me.
And how many text messages does Adam number 2 send us? Correcting our dictionary.
2, but 100% me on that one too.
Douche.
Fair enough.
But you're right. I messed that up. I remember I messed that one up before too. I kept thinking it was 3 and 3.
You keep on thinking it's worse than it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still
I
not
swear
good.
You tap 10 and you're only gaining 1 life. It's the point of this stupid card.
Yeah, I would
Anyways,
agree.
back to investigate. But yeah, I think they just need more. I mean, Tireless Tracker is the king of all this. I think it's one of the greatest ones out of the whole thing.
Even Thraben and Spectre, which is 1 white,
sure.
1, 2.
I spec'd on that card. I bought a whole bunch of foil ones for 20, 30 cents. They haven't done anything at this point, but I think that's a great card. That's why I kind of picked a bunch of those
They're worth
up.
more than that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they aren't they're not
crazy.
Tireless Tracker crazy.
Sure. It's a common.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it? No, it's uncommon.
No, it's a common.
The green one?
No, it's white.
Oh, you're talking about the 1-drop white.
Thraben and
Oh, no, I'm talking, the green, there's another green one. that one there? No, I didn't. Not Thraben was used in like Popper and stuff too. Yeah. No, I'm talking about there's that other green. This one right here. I like this card.
Wovenwald Mysteries. Yeah, I do really like that card as well. For sure.
But yeah, so I think this one we need more of it. And
I like Trail of Evidence too.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of them
card.
where you're just like, that could be a really good. It might not. I think it's a really good underpowered card, if that makes sense. Like Tireless Tracker is a really good card. The other ones are like, they're almost good. Like, do I need it? Like Thraben Inspector's in my Oketra deck. Gives me a little bit of draw spell. Still counts as a cheap card that can create a 4/4 token later on in the game. Like it does a lot no matter what in the game.
Yeah. All right, your sweet, awesome mechanic you like.
Proliferate.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's
actually surprisingly not as much as I thought. There's only 34 compared to the 25.
Well, it's just because you see a Ketra all the time. Or not a Ketra, but Atraxa. Yeah. And so...
No, Proliferate's awesome.
I like how wide it is, if that makes sense. Like, it can just affect...
And you get to choose.
So many different things.
You feel like, go back... This Proliferate made back when we started in the 90s would have been, it hits everything. You don't even get to choose it. This is kind of nice that you can be like, okay, I want that to have it, and I want this to have it, and that. I love the choice of that because it makes it so much more effective.
And again, and we've talked about this with Atraxa, but it affects poison, energy, +1/+1, -1/-1 counters, experience, planeswalkers. Like, it just affects anything that has a counter on it. Yeah. And it's just really nice that if you need something in that kind of deck to give it that little bit of a push, where you're like, I'd like to poison people a little bit quicker. You can have that new, essentially, landfall Proliferate card from War of the Spark. Like, that feels like a really cool card.
The land that does it?
No. There's a green. It's green, 2 colorless, 2/2. When a land comes into play, Proliferate. Like,
but you also have the Bastions or
Karn's Bastion,
where you can tap 4 to do one of those.
That seems sweet. There is a couple of cards that are like faux Proliferate from the Kaladesh block as well, at least Kaladesh. And so when it deals like damage, you get to like add a counter onto everything that you have. Okay. And that's all or nothing type thing, I think. That's not clearly not as good. No, but it's still not bad.
Yeah. Proliferate, we've talked about this before, but yeah, it's a great, awesome mechanic.
One thing that I would say is, like, maybe if they could have specified Proliferate a little bit, that'd give maybe more mechanics, quote unquote. So you can spin
now
it
you're
saying,
confusing me.
No, you can turn it into like a hardened scales type card. Like, whenever a card gets +1/+1, put another +1/+1 counter on it. Or but you could do that for -1. You could still do those, but if you want to switch it into a keyword, I think Proliferate just kind of like does a better job. If that it's kind of like okay, I don't have a good example because
I will tell you this. I know one thing, I've said this before, and I'm saying it again when we've talked about Proliferate before. What it made me do is realize how bad Populate is. Because Populate feels like every counter you should be able to make a copy of that token that's in play. And it's just like, Populate, add 1.
Copy one token you have.
It's like, if that's you have not really populating. That's just like slowly making more creatures. Like, really, that's not populating.
Yeah, like, I have no interest in putting a Populate card in my Alela deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're all counter 1/1.
Jared seems like a solid Populate card. But I don't know if I'd want to make like the Trombley has a decent Populate one too. I'm happy. Trostani.
Yep, Trostani.
I'd be happy with that
white
too.
Green
So
gal.
I think it does good enough.
But this makes me go, Populate should be a lot better than what it is.
Yes, I would agree.
All right, so we move into our final segment. This is Lowry and Adam. All right, so we have an A&L question from Mike Lowry.
Also, I want to opening up Parish Brewing coffee.
You guys probably don't know it because I probably cut it up, but we had to take a break because Lowry wanted to get another beer. In the meantime, he trips over the cord, knocks out our sound, all goes to hell. No, it was pretty easy fix. So
it was it's completely worth it for anything from Parish Brewery.
All right, so the ANL question for this week is from Mike Lowry, aka
me. Oh man, that's so good.
This
is from
what's up with thank you
same
cards?
one from. I'm trying to unfocus on from this. This is Louisiana Leos.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I brought this one up from Florida.
Mm.
It's so good, isn't
I could
it?
right away.
Man, it's so good.
I could drink the hell out of that. I like that. Did he give
didn't,
it to
no,
us?
he didn't say
Okay.
it, but I went looking for it when I was down there.
Thanks for suggesting that, buddy.
Okay, so what's up with thank you cards?
What's up with thank you cards?
Why are we talking about this?
Because Lowry got a thank you card.
So in Minnesota, we have this Give to the Max Day back in like November. And so whatever you donate to certain organizations, somebody will come out and match it. And me and my wife, we donated to a foundation that helps protect the Boundary Waters, which is a
Bunch of lakes up by northern Minnesota. And
yeah, it's untouched. Planes can't fly over it. You can't, no
motorized
motorboats.
You motorboat son of a bitch. You old sailor, you.
And so it's really, really pristine water, camping stuff. It's fantastic. And federal government has kind of done some stuff. We're trying not to we avoid political stuff.
Yeah, you looked at me for a second like, oh.
So we donated to this cause, and great. I want to give them money to help protect this fantastic piece of land on this, God's green earth. And was it Thursday night?
Thursday.
I'm like, God damn it. They sent us a fucking thank you card.
Well, why is that such a big deal, Lowry?
Because I gave them money for a certain thing, not to send me a goddamn thank you card. So here, general theme of I hate thank you cards is because it's not why I did something for someone or gave somebody something. I gave it or did something because I like you or I want you to be able to do something with that. And so you're wasting your time, energy, money. Okay, example for Boundary Waters. I'm giving you money to protect it. So you sat down and sent me paper and wasting money.
Well, and not only that, the stamp and
you're just wasting money. Somebody had to do that. You paid somebody to send me that. I'm just like, all of this. Think of how many people they just sent it to. They probably wasted $1,000 or so on that. It's just like, no, do what you're supposed to be doing with that money. I don't need any congratulations. I don't need a thank you.
Cool story, Hansel.
Fuck you.
I was waiting for a break on that. I'm like, where are we going to get this story?
I don't like thank you cards for me personally.
The funny thing is the reason why we decided to talk about this is because my wife and I were just talking about that kind of you're supposed to give thank you cards after presents and all that stuff. And she's like, we didn't get ours out for Drake. We had it all, but our living situation is so freaking crazy right now. So that's part of it, but that's no excuse. But she's like, I've sent out a bunch of gifts to weddings and stuff like that, and we haven't gotten thank you cards. And it kind of got her a little bit. She's like, I'm kind of pissed that I didn't get anything. But she's like, but it doesn't seem like people do thank you cards. And what's really the point of them now? It's like, now do you send a thank you card for the thank you card? Like, thank you?
Yeah, where does it stop?
I don't know. I will tell you, I don't like cards. I don't want a birthday card. I hate those because it's just like, you just spent $6 on that card to have a saying that like, you're like, I relate to this that relates to you. And then I'm going to write a little message that all you're going to do is read it and it goes right into the recycling.
Like when I do get a card, I hold on to it for like a couple weeks.
It's like, why are you
out of
holding on
guilt?
to it? Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, because it has to do something, right? Like I can understand if somebody's not around, but if somebody literally hands you the card, I'm like, just tell me what you think or make a fucking joke. Go read cards and then tell me the joke.
So one thing that we started doing was like, and we haven't like done this as like our thing, but like if you gave a toy and they're playing with it, we try to take a picture of it and then send it to that person, like text wise.
Yeah. Texting, again, that's not wasting money.
Yeah.
It's not wasting paper. It's
Time.
not that much time. Yeah. Like,
But it also is
agree with
showing,
that.
I feel like that's better because you can actually like, oh, look, here's my kid enjoying the thing that you gave them.
Yeah.
Or here's me enjoying the sweet thing you gave me or whatever.
I would agree with that. Like, at least showing appreciation. I think showing appreciation is a good thing.
Mhm.
But for me personally, if you just say thank you to me, that's all I don't even need that, but I get that. But I don't like.
The funny thing is what if, where's their cutoff? Back to your question, where's their cutoff of when they send out a thank you card? What if you only donated $1 and then it ends up costing them more money to send you a thank you card?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, but any of it, like, it just feels like a waste on that part.
Yeah. But there probably are people out there that are just like, want that, that might.
Our grandparents.
Yes.
Absolutely. We've had like sit down, like all cousins, like, you guys aren't appreciating this enough. It's just like, we hug you, we thank you. That's all I'm doing. If you need some type of validation, like, not specifically talking to them, but it's just like, if you need that kind of validation, in my opinion, you need to rethink of why you're doing something.
Yeah.
I don't need that validation or somebody like, it's like Secret Santa. Do you want them to seek you out? Thank you so much for that gift that you gave me. No, just that's how I treat a lot of things. If it's a secret, I'm fine with the secret. I don't need that validation at all. And it almost irks me when somebody asks for the validation and when I feel like I'm forced to give that validation to them.
Damn,
I don't like any of it.
I gotta stop doing that to you. My bad, dude.
It irks me.
Hey, Larry, did you like that present I got you? Where's my thank you card? I'm going to start texting you that.
Okay, so here's one thing where, like, I did calm down a little bit because I
we almost weren't going to do this.
Yeah.
At first when I was like, or you said it, didn't you? A&L question? Or did I?
Yeah.
And then when we got close to the episode, I was like, I don't care really, whatever.
So what my wife brought up is, I don't like things. I don't want things given to me. I don't like presents. I don't like giving presents. I don't like any of that kind of stuff. So thank you cards.
I won't give you magic cards anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't need it. But I do like it's. And she kind of brought it up maybe as like, there's general ideas. Really, yeah, it is, isn't it? Love language. Have you ever heard of that? Kind of like the idea is there's certain types of ways that people give and receive love. And sometimes that's where problems come into play with relationships, friendships, where, our grandparents want to thank you because it shows appreciation and that's something that they want.
Yeah.
Even though I don't understand it, I need to understand that they want that. So like, it's something that I should learn that that's what they would want. And to show them that I love them, I should give them goddamn thank you cards. But that's in knowing what people want, what they like, what they appreciate. And that's the big thing of human interaction is this place, whatever's trying to save the boundary waters, they're trying to show appreciation. And there are a lot of people that go, oh, they recognize that I gave to them and I'm more likely to give them to them in the future. Mm-hmm. And if you forgot me, I might forget you. That's a big thing.
That could be another part of it is the not forgetting them, like by sending the card. How soon after did they send you the thank you card?
Just received it. So it was like a month and a half later. But apparently they send like weekly emails to my wife. So
they don't want you to forget to stop donating.
For sure. And so there are certain things. And again, when it comes to love language, they are general ideas. Like there's going to be specific things that you should be doing for, anybody that's in your life. Like you should be learning what people like, so that you can kind of accommodate and make the people that you care about happy. Aww. Just don't waste my fucking money when I want you to save a nature place.
That is the tagline for the episode. Thank you, Larry, coming at the very end. When you get Larry to cuss.
Is that enough? With
a strong F.
Does that make sense though? Yeah. Like it's general ideas.
No, I got it when you sent it. It was pretty funny.
God.
All right. I think that's it for this week's episode. Remember, you guys can go on Twitter. We will have the poll up for the Commander Smith giveaway. Again, it is Cyclonic Rift, Fabled Passage, or Atraxa. We'll have that up for the next 5 or 6 days. And I think that's it. So next week, we potentially are doing a set review. Depends.
I think they're going to be fully out. Yeah.
They should be out, so we'll do a set review. What? One more? What? More on thank you cards?
No,
tell me we're not going back there.
I did have something on, but I'll avoid that. So we're kind of like double recording, and we're going to double record next week because I'm going to be in Phoenix for 2 weeks.
Oh, good for you.
Not the point. The point is I'm going to be there during the pre-release. So I think I'm in northern suburbs, Phoenix. If somebody wants to suggest a place that they go to in that general area,
or if you want to meet up with Lowry,
I can just try and get to that card store if you want to suggest one, and then I can hopefully play. I will have my son with me, so I'm going to have to con my dad into watching him. But I'd like to try and get out. So email.
Cool story, Hansel.
I don't like these buttons.
All right. Yeah. We will catch you guys next week. I'm catching Larry in the middle of a beer. Let's see if we can get these taglines. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.